Alright, so the Titan Crystal is going to rotate tomorrow, and that means 6 new champions are going to enter it. And I will be completely honest, this is the best set of characters entering the Titan Crystal in a very long time, arguably the best batch ever. So yeah, this is honestly massive. These characters are all really strong, and I want to talk about each one, talk about their uses, talk about what they do, and just go over them as a whole. First things first, we have Red Hulk, who is an attacker, obviously. He has access to poison and incinerate immunity, like a pseudo immunity, but you know, it's pretty much an immunity. He has physical burst damage, he has regeneration, and he also has incinerate. He is like the poster boy, I guess poster Hulk, of just being simple but effective, right? He has good immunities and damage, and he should prove worthy versus mystic characters since he does ramp up faster versus them, and those hazard shift nodes which benefit him big time because it builds his charges faster since he is immune to the effects. These things combined should make him a pretty solid pull from the Titan Crystal. Is he going to be your number one option? Not at all, right? Unless your name is Clown, then yes, it will be. But yeah, he's gonna be a pretty solid pickup for sure. I don't think he is a dud in the slightest. He doesn't really need to be awakened, though having him at Sig 1 does help, or like Sig 20, so like pulling him back to back isn't even the worst thing ever. So I think he's a fine addition. I think he's a very simple but easy to play champion, which I know a lot of players are looking for, so he should fill a role in your roster, especially if it's like a lower end one. But hey, at rank 3, I feel like even a higher end roster could enjoy this champion. Now, for a little bit of some gameplay, I have the 6-star version on the content creator beta. We don't have the 7 stars yet, so you get the 6-star, alright? And yeah, he's honestly pretty sweet. The damage output is solid versus mystic characters because he just ramps up like twice as fast, I want to say. And yeah, you want to just like parry to get your heat charges going against these mystic characters. Against non-mystics, it is just spamming SP1, and the ramp up without the awakened ability and like not being against a mystic character can be a bit slow for sure, but if he's versus a mystic, if he's awakened, he ramps up insanely fast and the damage output is just really solid. He's just a solid character, right? Like, he's not some beyond god tier champion, he just gets the job done, and if he crits, it's a thing of beauty. So Red Hulk, I do like him for sure. Now we have Hitmonkey here, who is a pure attacker. He has access to guaranteed crits, critical bleeds, he counters evade, he has purify, and he also ignores armor/resistances, and he also has a pretty small disorient. Now, I did say pure attacker, but he does have some defensive tricks. The only issue is his health pool is just so tiny, so like, is it really that good? I don't really know. But what I do know is that he is a pretty simple to use glass cannon champion. He has incredible damage output. He has bad survivability, even though he does have that evade for a bit of a safety net. And he has decent utility with countering evade and having those guaranteed crits. Another very simple yet effective character in my opinion. This one though is a bit different because Red Hulk is pretty tanky. He is pretty sustainable. Hitmonkey, if you get hit once, you are just seeing the lights, man. It's over. But if you can play him properly, he will get things down very quickly, and he is also just a very fun to play champion. Like I said, very easy, doesn't offer too much, but his damage output I think more than makes up for that. So right here you have a champion that I think is also a pretty solid pull. Not a dud by any means, not a jackpot by any means either, but I know that he does have a lot of fans that really want him. And hey, at rank 3 as a 7-star, he might surprise me, and he might be honestly like this absurd beyond god tier DPS, which I don't think I'd be too surprised if that was the case. And honestly, I take it back. I think he is going to be a beyond god tier DPS because check out this 6-star Hitmonkey versus a 7-star rank 3 health Quicksilver. It is actually absurd. Like, genuinely crazy crazy damage output, but on the other end, I block a special attack and I lose more than 10% of my health. Now, you can, strategize, like for example, here I am healing off of the whiplashes, and that is making up for my missing health, right? Then here I drop the SP2, and the fight is over just like that. That was like a 27-second fight, man. That's just absurd. Now we have the big boy, the big bull, Rintrah. He is a dual-purpose champion who has access to Neutralize, Rupture, Unstoppable, Stun Immunity, Root, Taunt, Regeneration, Armor Break Mitigation, and massive HP. A lot of defensive stuff, but then you pair that with his very solid SP2 damage output, and you have this absolute monster of a dual threat character. He is a powerful dual-purpose champion who is great survivability-wise for questing. He also has incredible buff control with the Neutralize. He is a massive Alliance Fort and Battlegrounds defender. He is honestly, I think, the highest health pool in the game besides Sasquatch. It is really crazy stuff, and at rank 3 he might arguably be a necessity if you want to be competitive in Battlegrounds with that crazy health pool. If you don't like Battlegrounds or you don't like Alliance War, he's still a very fun and safe questing character, especially with that juicy SP2. It is a thing of beauty, and I think that this champion has a ton of value for any account, whether you're progressing, whether you are in the high end of competitive Battlegrounds. I think you do really want this champion, and I think that he is going to be incredible with the crit rating stat focus, because when that SP2 crits, I am pretty sure it can one-shot any health pool in the game, especially at rank 3. Sorry, let me correct myself. Any Battlegrounds health pool in the game if the Rintrah is 7-star rank 3. So yeah, this guy I am so pumped for. Now this fight right here showcases his Neutralize, and I'll save the surprise for when the fight's about to end, because you're gonna see something that's gonna make your jaw drop. I'm pretty sure anyway. So yeah, here you want to build up the Neutralize, or just build up your mystical charges via the Neutralize, and then get your Ruptures just all the way stacked up, and once that happens, you're about to cash out on a beautiful SP2. Here I just go all in because why not, and we hit a 309,000 crit, and that was a 23-second fight for a 6-star Rintrah. You should be scared of 7-star Rintrah for sure. Now we have the new champions coming in. First off is Jack-o'-lantern, who is a pure attacker. He has access to poison, incinerate, plasma. He's also immune to incinerate and reverse controls. He can parry non-contact. He doesn't crit. He counters DOT on block. He has access to cowardice. He has precision. He has increased ability accuracy. He has regen. He's a 2024 champion. He is just filled with different abilities. I think he is best described as a gimmick character that was a bit too good if you ask me, because yeah, this guy is actually crazy. His damage output is incredible. He was designed to be an easy to play onslaught counter, but his damage output is so good that he honestly just extends beyond that big time. He is good for questing, he's good for Battlegrounds attack 100%, and he should be decent for some Alliance War nodes, but honestly it just depends on the meta there. But yeah, he's just a fun champion, very easy to play, which I think is the biggest selling point of this guy, besides being a hard counter to Onslaught. So if you're struggling with Onslaught and you just want an easy option, this is your guy 100%. He will be a jackpot for you if that is the case. If that's not the case, he is still a pretty solid pickup that honestly might surprise you. And now if you want a sneak peek of what this guy will do for you against Onslaught, well, here you go. And this is just incredible. Quick note, he does want to be awakened to have access to that regen versus Onslaught's Narrow Shocks. You don't get that unawakened, but you pretty much get everything else. So you are chilling if you pull this guy just one time. He will still hard counter Onslaught. Here we can just dex the SP2 because there is no reverse controls. You can dex it normally, right? You can dex it all the time, but it's a whole lot easier without the reverse controls. And yeah, this matchup is about to be over once we drop that SP2. So yeah, we're going to go for the dex here. Then we're going to bout the heavy attack and check out the results of this SP2. We got 1 crit, we got a lot of debuffs, and he just melts. That's it. There you go. Insanity. Like actual insanity. He is a hard counter to Onslaught, and if you need that, this is your guy right here. Now we have Scream, who is a like kind of a hybrid, but more of an attacker, to be honest. She has access to Bleed, Armor Break, Stun Mitigation, Vicious, Energize, Bulwark, Auto Block, Infuriate, Fervor, Burst Damage, Regen, Evade Counter versus Spider-Verse, and Armor Counter versus Tech. She is a strong attacker that is great for questing with all her buffs and debuffs. She is also good for meta tech defenders with her multiple ways of countering armor ups, and yeah, her damage output is very, very strong. So overall, she is just a pretty solid champion that has access to a lot of niche utility that's good for countering tech characters, especially Red Skull, but like also future Ant-Man. She's also good for countering like any Spider-Verse evade, which isn't really necessary right now, I want to say, but it's still there. She does have access to very consistent armor breaks for like, you know, any armor break nodes. She has a ton of DOT, which is great for a lot of nodes as well. And yeah, she's kind of niche utility wise, but like damage wise, she is very, very strong, which makes her good for like a majority of vanilla matchups. And yeah, just a pretty fun attacker that does want high sig because it does give her the ability to counter the tech armor ups and the Spider-Verse evade, which I think the tech armor ups is like a massive part of her utility kit. So yeah, keep that in mind. She does want high sig for that. So she takes a slight hit on Awaken, but she still has access to just like the onslaught of buffs and debuffs and that very solid damage output. Now I do apologize because I am a bit washed when it comes to playing Scream, but I think I have the general idea of what you want to do. You want to build up your madness and then convert some of that into fervors on the SP1. Then once you have that, you have pretty much guaranteed bleeds, which you can cash out for some crazy good DOT burst damage on the SP2, and that's really it. That's just like, that's her rotation. Not too complicated, but it is a bit of like, you know, micromanaging with getting like all the DOTs up in time and getting ready for that massive SP2. So yeah, here we built a heavy attack, we go back into the relic, into a combo, and it is severe overkill, but you know what? We take it, man, and we do some pretty nasty burst damage right there. Scream, pretty cool. Now we have Spiral, and Spiral is an attacker that was designed to counter the Serpent, but she also has access to a lot of different things. She has access to Falter immunity, she has Shock, Incinerate, and Poison duration reduction, she has access to Rupture, Power Steal, Fervor, she also has Buff Destroy, and her Dancing Blade mechanics which give her dodge, and she also has Block Regen. A lot, right? She does a lot, and she is honestly a very strong and versatile attacker. She is a very unique champion that does have a very complicated playstyle with her tempo, like her fervor tempo. It's complex, right? But I think it is worth it because she is just a very strong serpent counter, and besides that, she is just very versatile because she is immune to a ton of DOT debuffs, like, you know, pseudo immune, and she also destroys a lot of buffs, which gives her very solid buff control. This character was hyped to the core when she first was teased, and I think the hype has honestly delivered. I think she's a very good champion, just a bit complicated, so like if that's not your cup of tea, then she might not be for you, but if you want to learn her, I think the payoff is well worth it because she counters the hardest defender in the game and does a lot more beyond that. So now we have Spiral versus the Serpent, and yeah, this is it, man. This is the matchup that she was designed to counter, I'm pretty sure anyway, and I think she does a very good job of keeping this guy under control. So as you can see, I'm altering my combos to get my fervor tempo up, and once it's at 15, you start to rupture like crazy, and then you can cash out with a massive SP2, and yeah, the DOT is just ticking big time as well at this point. So yeah, this fight is honestly a great one. She keeps him under check for the entirety of the matchup essentially, and she has a nice little trick up her sleeve once we get to that scary 1% phase of the Serpent. So here I dropped the SP2, got some nice damage right there. He is now ticking down, And this is rank 2 versus rank 3, by the way. But here we go back in, drop the relic, he gets to 1%, I drop the blades, and it hard counters his immortality. You want this champion, trust me. You definitely want this champion. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. We got a lot of incoming champions here, and I think that they are all pretty solid additions. None are total duds, and I think some of them are absolutely jackpots. Looking at you, Spiral. Honestly, Jack-o'-lantern for me personally, and of course Rintrah. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the upcoming Titan pool, and yeah, that's about it for me.